Hey, welcome to another episode of Veterans View. And today we will be talking about the upcoming events for Veterans Day. We have a 3-day weekend full of events. And I have with me today Mr. G, who I call because I don't want to mess his name up. And he is the director of
Morale, Welfare, and Recreation at Fort Benning.
For Fort Benning, which takes care of all of our soldiers, sailors, Marines, and airmen and families that live or stationed at Fort Benning. Today we're going to talk about the upcoming events, which is Veterans Banquet, which will be Friday night, November the 9th, Saturday, the Veterans Day Parade, and Sunday, this big event that Fort Benning is having, which is going to be a football game broadcast live from there, along with talking about the 100th anniversary of Fort Benning and the 100th anniversary of Amistad, which is Veterans Day. So, Mr. G, how long have you been with Fort Benning now?
Well, Leroy, first let me say thanks for having me on the show. I really admire what you do for veterans in the Chattahoochee Valley Council for Veterans. You guys do great work, and I just wanted to thank you for having me on the show.
Yes, sir.
And I've been out on Fort Benning now taking care of soldiers for 14 years.
14 years. Okay, and I know you move around quite a bit out there because every time I come out there, almost you're in another building. Are they almost finished with your new building?
Well, you know, unfortunately we had a fire 3 or 4 years ago, and it's almost there. We hope to move into our new place, and I hope to have you come out and we can I can show you around once we get in our new facility.
Okay, great. Well, I'm so excited. So now let's talk about not only the upcoming events, but I understand the Commanding General had a run Friday.
He did. You know, the 19th of October was actually the actual date of the founding of Fort Benning, and of course you know that couldn't have taken place without the great community, the surrounding area in Columbus and Phoenix City, because it was those folks 100 years ago that had the foresight to bring Fort Benning, Camp Benning here to the Columbus area. And so on that particular day we actually celebrated with a run to commemorate the 100th birthday, the centennial. The CG led about 3,000 soldiers in a run, first thing at the crack of dawn in the morning, and then there were a number of events, and then we also had our Oktoberfest, which we had some folks from Off Post, the Chamber of Commerce President, Mr. Brian Anderson, and the CG. They came out for the opening celebration. So there's been a lot of things going on, not just towards the end of this year, but all during the course of the year to honor Fort Benning's 100th birthday here in the community, and our great relationship with Fort Benning and the local with the local community.
Okay, so let's let our viewers know now that when you have Oktoberfest and events of that nature, that big, you invite the whole community to come in.
We do, and you know, that's a great point, Leroy. A lot of people think Fort Benning is a gated community and it's closed, and obviously we have security you have to go through to come out on Fort Benning, but many of these events that we do, we open them to the community because we think it's really important that we keep that relationship with the civilians, because after all, it is the civilians' army. We work for the civilians in the Army.
Right. And of course a lot of the soldiers live out, whether they live in Columbus or Fort Mitchell or Phoenix City, and their kids go to school, to our public schools. So we just wanted to make sure that they were aware that when we have these big events, that it's open to the public and they are welcome to come in and participate.
Absolutely.
So,
it just, when we do that, we usually set up a special access gate.
Right.
And you have to have a picture ID, and we will help you facilitate getting onto the installation
picture
for
ID,
these
proof of insurance
Right.
and all of that stuff.
That's correct.
Okay, great. Well, let's talk about that Sunday, if you don't mind. Well, actually, I'll go back to Friday first. Friday is the Veterans Day Banquet, which starts at 7 p.m. at St. Luke Ministries. And this year, we have Lieutenant General West coming in from Washington, D.C., who is the Surgeon General for the Army.
That's pretty fantastic that you have General West coming in for that banquet. I think that's something everybody needs to go down and hear her. She's a fabulous speaker.
Right, and she has a fabulous history about where she came from and making it all the way up to a 3-star general. One of the other things I wanted you to mention is some of the guests that's going to be on Sunday that's coming to the banquet, that you have invited to the banquet.
Right, that's a good point. We have some folks from Fox NFL Sunday that are coming out that will be there. And our garrison commander is going to be in attendance with his spouse. And the civilian aide to the Chief of Staff of the Army for the state of Georgia will be there, Mr. John Hargrove.
Okay.
John Hargrove, Colonel Cox. And if you find me a ticket, I'm going to come too, Leroy.
Well, you know we're going to have you a ticket. We want you to come.
All
and
right.
so now we've talked about that. And Saturday we have the parade. And for the last couple of years, I've been able to encourage different people on base to put something in the parade. A few years ago, the hospital put a medical team in the parade with the old vintage World War I and World War II trucks.
That's
and,
awesome. And
the
the doctors was in the doctors and Strub, all that. So they participated in the parade. And we always want to make sure that everybody on Fort Benning know that they are welcome to participate in the Veterans Day Parade. But now we've had to talk about the exciting part, which will be Sunday. Now tell us about Sunday from start to finish, what's going to happen.
Okay, well, this is a great event. Fox NFL Sunday is going to be broadcasting live from York Field on Fort Benning.
Okay.
And the A-team, the pregame show, Tony Gonzalez, Michael Vick is going to be there. But
great.
the actual show itself, we've got Kurt Menefee,
Okay.
Howie Long, Terry Bradshaw, Coach Jimmy Johnson, and of course the most popular one I think is Michael Strahan.
Oh, yes.
So they are going to be here and they're going to be broadcasting live the pregame show. And I have late breaking news that morning at 6 o'clock. The Fox and Friends Sunday show is going to be there as well.
Oh, great.
So it is a live broadcast, and we're actually broadcasting the pregame shows and the halftime shows and the actual football games. The games that are going to be broadcast, Leroy, are the Atlanta Falcons and the Cleveland Browns. That's the first game.
First game.
Okay, and the second game is the Los Angeles Chargers and the Oakland Raiders.
Okay, great.
So all of that stuff that you see live on TV on Sunday mornings is going to happen right live on York Field in front of Building 4, McGinnis Wickham Hall. And the actual Fox is coming in, and they're building these big Jumbotron screens, so there will be the availability to watch these games right there on these Jumbotron screens, and to see these Fox NFL stars live as they actually broadcast.
As they broadcast the game, and it's going to be on the big field, we're going to have food trucks, I understand?
Oh my gosh, it is
Vendors?
a big tailgate party for the units. All the units on the installation are going to tailgate, and they will have a tailgate competition. We're hoping to get Michael Strahan to judge the tailgate. But the celebration will have food vendors for families when they come out. There'll be tons of kids' activities, inflatables, bouncy houses. All of that will be at no cost. And then we have lots of military demonstrations. Our Silver Wings parachute team will be there.
Okay, great.
And they're going to jump out. We're trying to work a deal where the Golden Knights are coming. We're still working on that. Right. And maybe Michael Vick or Terry Gonzalez or Michael Strahan will do a tandem jump out of the airplane with one of the parachute teams. Right. But the other thing that's going to be out there that's going to be pretty neat is all sorts of military vehicles. You'll be able to see things like Strikers, Bradleys. They'll be opened up. The tank crews will be there. They'll be talking about that. There'll be the Black Hawk helicopters will be there, and the crews will be there showing those things. The other thing I found out is we're going to have the Rangers doing a fast rope insertion,
Right.
kind of like what we do for Independence Day celebration, where that helicopter comes in and hovers, and those soldiers will fast rope out,
Right.
set up a perimeter, and then the helicopter will leave them and then come back
And pick 'em
and
up.
then pick them back up, and they'll be tethered to that line. If you've never seen that, that is just a phenomenal thing.
Right, and I tell you, I encourage everyone to come out. You know, when I taught ROTC in Atlanta, I used to bring my naval cadets here for Ranger graduation.
right?
And because when we teach students in high school junior ROTC, we teach them about our service, but we want them to have the freedom to join any branch
Right.
they want to join.
Right.
So it was just so exciting for them to come to Rangers graduation and see a Ranger come out of a helo into the lake, or come down the wall running and
Right.
shoot. So
I keep forgetting you're a Navy man,
yes,
right?
sir. All the way Navy. But I'm so excited about Sunday because what time are the gates going to open?
Well, you can come out starting at 10 o'clock. The actual event is 11 o'clock in the morning. That's when the actual broadcast, the pregame show, and we'll be out there all day through the last game.
Right.
You know, the last game, I think, broadcast starts around 4 o'clock in the evening, probably depending on, you know, if there's overtime or anything. It'll probably be going up to 7 o'clock. 8 o'clock time frame.
Right.
And I wanted to stress to your viewers that the event is free and open to the public, and we want to invite all our friends in the Phoenix City, East Alabama area to come out and celebrate the 100th birthday of Fort Benning and the armistice, the anniversary of the armistice, which is really important.
Right.
You know, Leroy, probably now, I read somewhere, where less than 1% of our population serves in the military.
Yes, sir.
And it, like other holidays, like Martin Luther King's birthday and whatnot, we all get excited about a day off, but sometimes I think we lose the intent of the holiday. And Veterans Day is to honor those folks that sacrificed for us all these years and all these many conflicts that we've had to preserve our nation's freedom and our individual rights.
And that's one of the things that I always talk about when I speak on Veterans Day. It's about a veteran spirit of influence. We have always been willing to sacrifice for our country. So now we must not just get out of the service and retire and just go sit down, but we must serve again.
Yes.
Serve our community.
Right.
When I retired, I went to work for the VA for 4 years, and after that I started volunteering, taking care of veterans and those who are on active duty to make sure that they had the things they needed to do their job active duty wise, and those who have borne the war and who can't do for themselves, try to help them get their benefit, because somebody did that for me while I served.
Right. Well,
So,
you know, the Veterans Administration is an important piece, but I think what's really important is the work like you do, the Veterans Council. You know, Veterans Administration is a big organization, and I think your work and what your council does to help support veterans, raise money for veterans, and help them with information
Yes, sir.
on how to you know, get their benefits and things like that that they are entitled to, that they may not know about. So that's why I admire what you do so well. So
thank
much.
you very much, and we look forward to the events that's coming up. And again, we want the public to know that the number on the bottom of your screen, 706-718-4440. That's my personal cell number. For more information you need, you can call me. But we're looking to have a great time this weekend, which is a Veterans Day weekend, November the 9th through the 11th. So please come out, enjoy the entertainment, meet some of the veterans, and meet those guys who are on active duty, those guys and girls who are actually taking care of us right now on active duty. Come out and meet them and tell them thank you. And of course, we have vendors that's going to be out there and everything. So the activities are free, but you may have to pay for a sandwich.
Yeah, you'll do, and
but it won't be that bad.
No, our prices are very reasonable, and I think the other thing I wanted to let your viewers know when you come out, use the Benning Road access gate. If you're coming up Victor Drive and you come into Fort Benning, use the Benning Road access gate. We will be set up there to help all the traffic come out.
Right.
And I would encourage all your viewers, Leroy, to use that gate, and we can facilitate. They have to have a picture ID to get on the installation. Right. And other than that, we'll make it as painless as we possibly can to get you out there to meet all those soldiers that Leroy was talking about. We anticipate having 4,000 of our finest young soldiers that have just come into the active duty in the Army from Sand Hill that are training, and I know that they would love to see you, and I think you'd be really surprised at what great young patriots these young men and women are.
Okay. Well, thank you, Mr. G, for coming out.
Leroy, it was
and
my pleasure.
sharing the show with us.
I really
and
enjoyed it.
I am excited. And
Me too.
I am excited to work with you all the time. And you never let me down. You never let the veteran community down.
Well, thank you, Leroy.
And the other thing I want to say before I go, Mr. G also runs the Veterans Recreation Area down in Florida. You didn't mention that.
Yes, that's a great point. We have our Destin Army Recreation Facility down in Destin, Florida, and our soldiers, active duty retires, veterans, and our Uchi Creek Recreation Center.
Right.
So we'd love to see you. Make reservations for that. I will tell you can access all this great information by going to our website, which is benningmwr.com.
And I see you brought this with you.
I did.
So I want to show this. Can you see this? This is the flyer for the 100-year celebration of Fort Benning and Amnesty Day. So at Fort Benning, with Mr. G, I was able to tie this all in with our Veterans Banquet. I'm glad you allowed us to work with you so that we can show everything that's going on this Veterans Day weekend. And again, thank you for coming out.
My pleasure.
And that ends another episode of Veterans View.
Awesome.
They are the greatest fighting force the world has ever seen. But what does it take to strengthen our service members? What does it take to let them know that we stand behind them, wherever they are? What does it take to bridge the distance and keep them connected to family, home, and country? And what does it take to prepare them for their future when their service to the nation is complete? What does it take to strengthen our service members so they can be the greatest force for good in the world? It takes a force. Be a force behind the forces. Share a message today at force.uso.org.
And welcome to segment 2 of Veterans View here in beautiful Phoenix City, Alabama. And on the show today we have Councilman Pop Burns from Columbus, Georgia, and we're going to be discussing the Veterans Banquet and the events for the weekend of Veterans Day.
That's exactly right.
There's a lot of things going on this year with the 100th anniversary of Fort Benning.
That's exactly right.
And leadership. Also with the 100th anniversary of Amnesty Day, which is Veterans Day.
Right.
So we have a lot. And then that Sunday, Fort Benning has a lot of activities going on base, which they have open to the public.
Oh, great.
So we have a great discussion going on today. And first, I want to start off with the Veterans Banquet.
Sure.
And as you know, we have Lieutenant General West coming in to be our guest speaker, the Surgeon General of the Army. And of course, as usual, we have good banquets, and we're going to be at St. Luke Ministries. What do you think about that?
Well, let me just tell you that the previous Veterans Banquets have always been very delightful. Plenty of guest speakers, plenty of food, and this is the most thing, the fellowshipping among fellow veterans. You can't beat something like that.
You can't beat it.
You can't beat it. And I'm so glad, Leroy, that you came up with this idea to have something like that and have it or the evening prior to the Veterans Day Parade. I just think it was a novel idea.
And I think that the two go hand in hand. And my prayer, my initial thoughts was to have this thing grow. But it will continue to grow.
It will grow. I can remember Rebecca and I were talking. The first Veterans Day Parade was started and over before we realized, because it was small. Not that many, even not that many people came out to view it. We didn't have really that many participants. But look how much has grown. And I'm looking for the Veterans Banquet to do the same thing. Once word of mouth goes, it's going to get even more and more bigger. And if you think about it, I anticipate the subsequent one was bigger than the initial one, the inaugural banquet, and I expect this one to be even bigger.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's constantly growing. And you know, just the camaraderie of veterans seeing veterans and knowing that they can help veterans.
Right, that's the most thing.
The banquet is designed to help raise funds to still be able to help veterans.
Right.
Get their benefits, to help veterans navigate the VA system, and those sorts of things, and to give scholarships to kids.
It's an extremely worthwhile cause.
It's a good cause, and we just need more people to participate.
Right.
But now, let's talk about Saturday. Because when we finish the banquet that night, we always try to be out by 9:15, 9:30, so that people can get their rest and be out there Saturday morning for that parade. Now tell us about this year's parade.
Now I'm excited. This is the 10th annual Veterans Day Parade. It just seems like yesterday that I got the initial one started. Well, first of all, we're gonna do something different. We're going to have a gospel choir. A Greater Shady Grove Missionary Baptist Church is going to be there to sing 3 gospel tunes. After that, Miss Maria Riddell is going to sing America the Beautiful, one of my favorite songs. Then we're going to have the guest speakers, the mayors from Phoenix City and Columbus. We're going to have the parade marshal speak. We're going to have the guests from Fort Benning speak. Then the parade starts at 10 o'clock. And as I said, the parade gets bigger and better every year. All the marching bands, all the military organizations, all the American Legions, the DAV, Veterans of Foreign Wars, all of it comes together in the parade. Okay, great.
Why don't you tell us who the speakers are going to be?
Well, we're going to have Mayor Lowe and Teresa Tomlinson. We're going to have the mayor-elect of Columbus, Georgia, which is the Honorable Skip Henderson. He's going to speak. And we're going to have Richard Newman, who is a retired dentist colonel. He's going to be the parade marshal.
Okay.
And then we're going to have, I have to find out who the general is going to be. It's going to be a general that's going to speak on the behalf of General Brito. And then we're going to have another song, and then the parade's going to start exactly at 10 a.m.
Okay, great. So that's going to be another great day. Now, tell me, is there anything else going on after that parade that we need to know?
Not after the parade, but I'm going to tell you what I'm looking forward to. I'm looking forward to the banquet to hear the Surgeon General speak.
Oh, yeah. Well, she has a speech to give.
And I know the Surgeon General has a speech out of this world, and as an RN, as a nurse, I can't wait to hear it.
Right, and I don't know, have you ever read her biography?
No, I have not read it.
She has a very impressive biography. She went to the academy. She went to West Point.
Oh, did she?
She's a West Point graduate, yes.
Oh, wow. Well, you had to have your stuff together to go to West Point.
And she comes from a very big family.
Oh, does she?
Yes. I'm on, and that's all I'm gonna say about that, because you really
He's
need
whetting
to
my appetite now, making
her,
me want to hear more.
Her bio, I mean, she is sharp, and everybody I spoke to as we was over at Thursday at the Fort Benning at the General's reception. All of those men who have heard her speak and women say you can't wait to hear her speak.
Oh, well. Well, then, see, he's giving me big anticipation now.
Right, and if I tell you, you may not come to the banquet. So I'm not going to tell you. I'm going to hold that back so that I can make sure you're at the banquet.
Trust me, I'm coming to the banquet, and I'm bringing 2 guests with me. So you know I'm really looking forward to this banquet.
Okay. Well, that's about it for now. But I'm glad you was able to come. And if anybody out there need any information on tickets for the banquet, you can reach me at 706-718-4440. That number is at the bottom of the screen. And if you need any information about the parade, you can reach Pop Burns at
706-442-0249.
and that number is also at the bottom of the screen. Also, you can go to Phoenix City Parks and Recs to fill out an application for the parade, or Columbus, Georgia Parks and Rec and fill out an application for the parade. So we look forward to seeing you out on the street to give the honor to the veterans that they deserve. Thank you.